I'm Ben Solak. This is the play sheet. I gotta say howdy. If I don't say howdy, how will people know that the show's beginning? Howdy. The opening script, the Bengals defense, brought them here. Listen, I love Joe Burrow just as much as the next guy. I have an article up about him right now. We did an episode on his offense in the play sheet. There's a lot of reasons to love Burrow, but it's time we talk clearly, resoundingly, about the most unsung, the least sung hero of the Bengals' entire playoff run this season and in the season past. And that's defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. I'm going to let Bengals cornerback and relentless poster Eli Apple speak for me here.
Because we got a mad scientist named Lou Anarumo.
Mad scientist Lou Anarumo was hired in 2019 when Zach Taylor became the head coach without a lot of fanfare. He'd previously been the defensive backs coach for the Giants and for the Dolphins. This was his first DCing job. So nobody really knew what his defense was going to be, and for the first couple of seasons, it wasn't really anything of note. In fact, it garnered some criticism. The Bengals let homegrown talent like pass rusher Carl Lawson and cornerback William Jackson walk in favor of second-tier-ish free agents, cornerback Chidobe Awuzie, pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. These weren't exactly huge splashes, and it's not like they were making big splashes in the draft on defense either. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Jonah Williams, T. Higgins, Jackson Carman, Drew Sample. From 2019 to 2021, each of the Bengals' first-round picks and second-round picks were spent on offense. But since the 2021 season and now into the 2022 season, the Bengals defense has proved itself to be a force, only they've done it really quietly. In 2021, not a single Bengals defensive player received an All-Pro vote. In 2022, 4 players did, but safety Von Bell was the only one to get more than one vote. By efficiency, it's been similarly sleepy. Last year, including the playoffs, the Bengals were 16th in DVOA. This year, they're 11th. This is why, up until recently, Anarumo has been so unheralded. His defense is lacking in those big recognitions and accolades. They don't have that regular season sweeping dominance. But what they do have is the most important thing you can have when you're playing January football. And that's a plan against elite quarterbacks. Here are the 5 elite to elite-ish quarterbacks that the Bengals have faced over the last 2 seasons. Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Lamar, and then Aaron Rodgers in 2021 when he won the MVP. In the 8 games the Bengals have played against these 5 quarterbacks, 3 of which came against Mahomes, they are allowing the opposing quarterback negative 0.03 EPA per dropback, the functional equivalent of turning all these quarterbacks into the 2022 version of Mac Jones in the Patriots offense. Big Lou, as I have affectionately taken to calling him, mostly because I can't pronounce his last name reliably, Big Lou is good in big games. He's good against elite quarterbacks. And it would be awesome. It would be a dandy if I could just stand up here and tell you, this is the blueprint. This is what Lou Anarumo does. This is how other teams could do it. These are the defensive coordinators you hire. These are the players you get. But it's not that cut and dry. Now, we can find a consistent thread in what happens to these elite quarterbacks when they play Anarumo's defenses. Anarumo delays top quarterbacks. He slows them down. When you look at the time to throw for those 5 quarterbacks over like a large sample, right? The 3 seasons worth of average, and then you just look at the games they've played against Anarumo, you see that all of them have a drastically increased time to throw when they face the Bengals defenses. This is especially true of and notable for Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Chiefs, who the Bengals are going to face for the 4th time in 2 years in the upcoming AFC Championship game. In the 56 games that Mahomes has played regular season and postseason over the last 3 years, he's only been made to have a time to throw of longer than 3 seconds 8 times. He's 3 of 5 in those games. 2 of those 8 games have come against Lou Anarumo, and he's 0-2 in those. So, how does Lou Anarumo's defense force opposing quarterbacks, especially the elite ones, to hold onto the ball for longer than they'd like? Why does that matter? And why particularly does it matter against Patrick Mahomes? Let's go to play action. Okay, let's start with the big thing. This is drop 8 coverage from the Bengals in the red zone against the Chiefs this season. Nobody in the league has run more drop 8 coverage than the Bengals have this season, and the number 1 game with the most drop 8 coverage that Lou Anarumo has called for the Bengals, it was last year's conference championship game against the Chiefs. When we say drop 8 coverage, we could also just equally say rush 3, right? What the Bengals are going to do is they're only going to have 3 pass rushers, and then everybody else is going to drop in coverage, including pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. It's really easy to see how this is like a core tenet of make the quarterback hold on to the football, slow the game down. The Bengals are literally sacrificing pass rush, right? Let's get after him now. Let's hurry him. Let's make him get rid of the football for the sake of having an extra dude in coverage, which takes away routes, forces quarterbacks to go through progressions, and in the case of Patrick Mahomes, often makes him scramble. Watch Trey Hendrickson drop and chip Travis Kelce. Don't give him any free release. And look at all these Bengals players in coverage. I love this image. Look at hips open, and then critically, look at all these eyes on Mahomes, right? Look at all of these guys watching him. One of the nice things about drop 8 coverage is that you can just run true, actual, legitimate zone. You don't have to run zone match where you're looking at receivers. You can just have eyes on the quarterback, and that's really beneficial against a quarterback like Mahomes because of how good he is at scrambling. The other important thing to note here is that the Chiefs ran a little 4-strong concept, right? They had the back come to the 3 receiver side. They got 3 receivers over here. A 4-strong concept, right? 4 receivers to one side of the field is literally built to flood zone coverage. It's meant to put too many receivers in one area for zone coverage to handle. But the Bengals just dropped an extra guy in zone, so they're fine. The rest of this play plays out much like you might expect. Mahomes initially tries to read out the play side. There's no space for any throws, so he starts buying time, hanging around. Trey Hendrickson gets involved back in the rush, tries to make something happen in the scramble drill, ends up getting pressured by Sam Hubbard, throws the football away. Now, one of the cool things about drop 8 coverage is, you can drop all 8 guys with zone eyes and just suffocate space that way. But because you have the extra body, you can just do weird things. And in doing weird things, you can confuse the opposing offense, or you can go hunting a matchup. This is Trey Herndon. He's a 4th corner, 4th safety for the Bengals, right? Good special teamer. But he's a big dude. And what they love to do whenever they play the Chiefs is put him right up against Travis Kelce in the press, right? And all they want him to do is just hassle him, bump him. Don't let him free off the line, throw off his timing. Don't let him and Mahomes just do all their free access nonsense. He's going to play man coverage on Travis Kelce. Everybody else, right? The Bengals are going to bluff a little bit of a pressure look here. We can see communication going in the secondary right now. Bluff a little pressure look and drop. Everybody else is going to end up playing zone, right? He's bailing to his zone. He's bailing. He's going to step down. He's having to the flat. And then it's going to be almost like cover 3 behind it, right? This is just regular old zone coverage, except for one dude. And that's they chip with Travis Kelce. And then it's just Trey Herndon on Travis Kelce. It's just man coverage right here. And then everywhere else is just zone. And that's the benefit of running drop 8 is you have this ability to get a specific matchup while staying sound in coverage elsewhere. That's harder to do, right? You have that extra chess piece you can move on the board. Now, 3rd and 15, Bengals got 8 guys in coverage. What happens next? Well, Patrick Mahomes probably right now should check this down to the back, right? Oh, he's open. What if he makes a guy miss in space? He goes pick up the first down. That's what a lot of quarterbacks would do. He's Patrick, and there's a reason why he's Patrick and everybody else is regular. He's going to run around for 10,000 seconds. He's going to find Justin Watson wide open in space, and he's going to hit him in the chest for a 40-yard gain. Obnoxious. But this upcoming Sunday, this is a lot less likely to happen because Mahomes is going to be gimpy. He's on the high ankle sprain. The mobility is going to be limited. And so for the Bengals now, the question isn't how do we survive the Mahomes scramble drills? It's how much do we have to fear them overall? So let's talk about containing Mahomes, the scrambler, because I know I just showed you crazy scramble play and he throws it 35 yards on the field to Justin Watson. But in general, the Bengals do a really good job handling Mahomes' creative instincts in the pocket, right? This is going to end up being just rush 4, drop 7, right? This is just more traditional, send a pass rush, and we got zone eyes and coverage, right? Look at all these underneath players just with zone eyes on Mahomes, eyes on Mahomes, eyes on Mahomes. These players are getting connected to routes here as they go deep down the field. But a lot of this underneath coverage is all just about getting eyes on Patrick. Now, they get a good interior push, and they get Trey Hendrickson on the outside. The Bengals really like to pick on Orlando Brown, who's the left tackle for the Chiefs. Hendrickson's a really explosive upfield rusher, and Orlando Brown's a little bit slow-footed, so they love getting that matchup. So as Mahomes is even just hitting the top of his drop, nobody's really declared open just yet. Probably, again, the best option is just to throw the check down in front of all this zone coverage, but Mahomes wants to make something happen, so he starts trying to move in the pocket. The player to watch here is actually Sam Hubbard. He's the defensive end to the bottom of the screen. Watch how he rushes Mahomes. Okay, so he gets wide, he kind of puts his hands on the offensive tackle, and then he's just going to gain depth, right? And all he's trying to do right now is set this hard line to make sure that Mahomes can't get out this way. He's trying to keep him where he's got teammates who can finish the job for him. And so Mahomes has to step up in this pocket because Hubbard has created this line. He's made it hard for Mahomes to escape out the right. That puts Mahomes, right in the lap of the defensive tackle. And Mahomes, because he's aggressive, because he wants to create, because this is a frustrating defense to play against, he's going to end up, instead of dumping this thing off to Travis Kelce, trying to hit Juju Smith-Schuster in a window that's 100% going to be closed on. This ball doesn't end up intercepted because two Bengals defenders run into each other, but it very well should have been. All of that brings us here. 3rd and 3. Chiefs are down by 3. Fringe field goal range late in the 4th quarter. This is it. Right, this is the play. All game long, Anarumo's defense has been trying to take away space with a ton of zone droppers, play with zone eyes. They're going to use their pass rush to contain Mahomes, and if he scrambles, force him to make bad decisions, force him to hold onto the football, and then try to create something outside of structure. That's how we want to play. They're going to do all of this on this play. It's going to be rush 3, drop 8. Critical 3rd down, rush 3, drop 8. But with a twist, with the one final ingredient that we have to talk about when we're discussing how to delay quarterbacks, how to slow them down, how to make them take that extra time in the pocket. And that's disguise. That's changing what you do pre-snap, post-snap, forcing them to spend that extra second, that extra beat in the pocket, checking their work, and in that extra moment, finding an advantage. Here's what we're looking at. The Bengals have 4 defensive linemen, right? They're going to rush 4, drop 7, whatever. We're about to motion Noah Gray across the formation. Let's see what happens next. Sam Hubbard, who's a defensive end, is going to get up and just go stand at middle linebacker. I don't know why we're doing, I don't know what that means, right? This is peculiar. Now we got 3 down defensive linemen. So Mahomes, Creed Humphrey, Jerick McKinnon, they get up to the line, they figure out the protection because there's options, right? We have a linebacker potentially blitzing here, linebacker potentially blitzing here, and we have Hubbard, who's just standing there, and he probably going to come because he's a defensive end. Like we got a lot of stuff we got to deal with right now. What the Chiefs end up doing is they're going to slide the line, boom, to the right. They're going to worry about all of these guys here, worry about Hubbard coming up the middle. This is the slide, and they're going to leave Orlando Brown one-on-one versus Joseph Osai. McKinnon is checking this linebacker. If he came, he would have blocked him, but he didn't come, so he's just going to release. And that's all Lou Anarumo wanted. He put a defensive end at middle linebacker. He's going to drop 8 into coverage on a critical 3rd and 3, right? We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, all zone eyes in coverage, including a freaking defensive end, so he could get a one-on-one against Orlando Brown, Joseph Osai on the inside move. By the time Mahomes hits the top of his drop, I mean, he's immediately under pressure. And it doesn't matter that Travis Kelce's going to turn around where there's a little bit of space. It doesn't matter that immediately there's open room for Justin Watson to pick up this first down because the Bengals only rushing 3 got an immediate pressure up the inside. Mahomes goes to scramble, and Osai makes an extremely athletic play, gets the tackle, and forces 4th down. With drop 8 coverage, we can take away that space. We can send guys where they're not expected to be. We can make the quarterback hold onto the ball for a beat. With disguise, with confusion, we can make him hold onto the ball for another beat. And if we get our matchup, we can win with a pass rush, and we can put the offense in scramble mode. This is what Lou Anarumo does. Lou Anarumo figures out the way to make your offense uncomfortable, to make it pause, to make it think after the snap. And in elongating the play, he thinks he's going to win more often than not. And more often than not, he's right. The best thing about looking at all this Anarumo film against the Chiefs and saying, oh, like he runs drop 8, they play with zone eyes, like this is how they do it, is that it's not how they do it. At least not against Josh Allen, who they blitzed from depth a lot more with cornerbacks, and they rotated single high to 2 high. Not how they play against Lamar Jackson, where they play with base defense, 3 linebackers, like traditional 2000s defensive approach. He's really good against elite quarterbacks because he does different things to each one. He does the thing that upsets them, that frustrates them, that critically delays them, that slows them down, that puts them in a style of offense they don't want to be in. Unlike a lot of coaches who have like a zippy little one-liner for what they do, like, oh, I'm Bill Belichick, we play man coverage. I'm Wink Martindale, we blitz. Lou Anarumo's one-liner is, I'm Lou Anarumo and I do different stuff. Every week, what do you not like? That's what I'm going to do this week, and I'm going to be able to coach my guys well enough, have enough versatile players that I can achieve it. And that's a lot less zippy. It's not a good headliner, but the proof of the pudding's in the eating. Lou Anarumo is the elite quarterback stopper in the NFL right now, period. And if you're going to make a run in the AFC playoffs with Mahomes and Allen and Herbert and Lawrence and Lamar, you need an elite quarterback stopper. The Bengals have him. Nobody else does. And they're in back-to-back AFC championship games because of that. Thank you so much for watching the play sheet. This was our ode to Big Lou and the Bengals defense. Preach the gospel of Big Lou everywhere you go. And tell your friends. Play sheet, baby. We're still doing it all the way through the playoffs. Super Bowl previews, X's and O's. Make sure you subscribe.